The waiting room. You've seen them before, the off-white walls, the flickering fluorescent lights, the faded, carpeted floors. Empty waiting rooms are the kind of liminal spaces that feel normal until you realize they shouldn't exist. I found myself in one last week, though I have no idea how I got there. I had been walking home late at night, the streets quiet and empty, when I saw the glow of a building I didn't recognize. Its glass doors were slightly ajar, and a pale light spilled out onto the sidewalk. Curious, I stepped inside. The lobby was eerily quiet, the air thick with the smell of cleaning chemicals. There were no signs, no desk, just rows of plastic chairs lining the walls. A water cooler sat in the corner, humming faintly, though the bottle was empty. I called out, my voice echoing down the long, empty hallways that branched off from the waiting area. No response. A clock on the wall ticked, but the hands didn't move. That was when I noticed the windows, or rather, the lack of them. There was no view outside, just solid, black panes that absorbed the dim light. I tried to leave, but the glass doors I had entered through were gone. In their place was another hallway, stretching into an impossible distance. At first, I thought I was imagining it, but the waiting room began to feel smaller. The walls seemed closer, the ceiling lower. A faint buzzing sound grew louder, like static building in the back of my skull. Then, I saw the figure. It was just outside the edge of the light, standing motionless in the hallway. Its shape was vaguely human, but the proportions were wrong. Too tall, too thin. Its head tilted slightly, like it was studying me. I blinked, and it was closer. I stumbled backward, tripping over one of the chairs, and when I looked up, it was gone. But the static remained, louder now, almost deafening. The room felt colder, the walls closing in, and the air grew harder to breathe. Desperate, I ran down one of the hallways. It twisted and turned, the carpet beneath my feet feeling softer, almost wet. I kept running, the buzzing sound following me, until I burst into another waiting room, identical to the first. The plastic chairs, the flickering lights, the motionless clock, all the same, except this time, the figure wasn't hiding. It was standing in the center of the room, staring at me with a face that wasn't a face, just a smooth, featureless void. The buzzing turned into whispers, words I couldn't understand, growing louder and louder, until I couldn't think, couldn't move. I don't know how I got out. I woke up in my apartment the next morning, my shoes wet with something that smelled like mildew. Since then, I've avoided places that feel too quiet, too empty. Liminal spaces like waiting rooms, abandoned hallways, and forgotten stairwells aren't just unsettling, they're traps, and if you linger too long, you might not escape. Be sure to like and subscribe for more scary stories.